Have you ever had a moment, a quiet moment, perhaps looking out the window or trying to read a familiar recipe where you felt like your own body was slowly, quietly starting to betray you? It's a frightening thought, one we don't often speak about out loud. It's not a sudden, dramatic event. It's a creep, a slow, almost imperceptible fading. The colors of a sunset might seem just a little less vibrant. The face of a grandchild across a dinner table just a little less sharp. You find yourself squinting to read a street sign that you used to see with perfect clarity. You might start avoiding driving at night, not because you want to, but because you feel you have to. And with this slow fade comes a deep, gnawing fear. It's the fear of losing more than just your sight. It's the fear of losing your independence. The fear of not being able to read your favorite books, or enjoy your hobbies, or see the world with the richness it deserves. It's the fear of becoming a burden on the people you love most. We're told it's just a normal part of getting older. It happens to everyone, Bassem. They say, just get a stronger pair of glasses. But what if that's not the whole story? What if some of the things we do every single day, things we believe are harmless, are actually feeding the very conditions that are stealing our vision? What if the biggest culprits aren't just time and genetics, but are hiding in plain sight, right on our kitchen counter and on our dinner plate? In this video, we are going to pull back the curtain on the connection between your diet and your eyes. We're going to talk about the vision robbers, 5 specific types of foods that can silently worsen age-related vision loss, especially conditions like macular degeneration and cataracts. But more importantly, we're going to show you how to fight back, empowering you with the knowledge to protect one of your most precious gifts. Stay with me because what you're about to learn could change the way you see the world, quite literally. Now, I know that what I just described might feel heavy. It touches on some of our deepest fears, and for that, I want to thank you for trusting me enough to continue watching. My goal here is never to scare you, but to arm you. Because knowledge, true, in-depth knowledge, is the most powerful tool we have against the uncertainties of aging. It transforms fear into power. It turns anxiety into action. We're about to dive deep into the science, but in a way that's easy to understand and, most importantly, easy to apply to your own life. But before we uncover these 5 vision robbers, I need to know that you're truly with me on this journey. If you are serious about taking back control of your health, please take just a single moment to click that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. It's a small click, but it's a big statement that you're ready to invest in yourself. And I want to hear from you. In the comments below, tell me, what is the number 1 health concern on your mind right now? This isn't just a channel, it's a community. Your voice truly matters here, and it helps all of us learn and grow together. All right, are you ready? Let's begin with the first, and perhaps most surprising, food group that is silently waging a war on your eyesight. The first vision robber we need to unmask is a sly and deceptive one because it often masquerades as a source of quick energy or a harmless treat. I'm talking about refined carbohydrates and sugary drinks. This category includes the obvious culprits like sodas, sweetened iced teas, and rich desserts, but it also includes the less obvious ones. White bread, white rice, most breakfast cereals, crackers, and even that glass of fruit juice you might think is a healthy choice. So, why are these foods so dangerous for our eyes? To understand this, we need to talk about what happens inside our body when we consume them. Imagine your bloodstream is a busy highway system delivering vital nutrients to every part of your body. When you eat these simple sugars and refined starches, they are digested very, very quickly. This causes a sudden, massive rush of sugar, or glucose, onto that highway, creating an instant traffic jam. Your body, in a panic, releases a flood of the hormone insulin to act as a traffic cop, trying desperately to move all that sugar out of the blood and into your cells. This cycle of sugar spike and crash, repeated day after day, year after year, puts enormous stress on your entire system. But your eyes are uniquely vulnerable. Why? Because the eye is one of the most intricate and delicate organs in your body. The retina, the light-sensitive tissue at the back of your eye, is nourished by a network of the tiniest, most fragile blood vessels you can imagine. When your blood is consistently thick with sugar, it's like trying to force thick, sticky sludge through a delicate lace curtain. Over time, these tiny vessels get damaged. They become leaky, and they can't deliver the oxygen and nutrients your precious photoreceptor cells need to survive. This process is a key driver behind diabetic retinopathy, but it also significantly contributes to the progression of age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. But there's another, even more sinister process at play here. It's a chemical reaction called glycation. It sounds complicated, but the concept is simple. Have you ever toasted a marshmallow over a fire and watched it turn brown and sticky? That's a form of glycation. In your body, excess sugar molecules can permanently and haphazardly attach themselves to proteins, creating harmful new structures called advanced glycation end products, or AGs for short. Think of these AGs as making your body's tissues old and brittle before their time. They stiffen your flexible blood vessels, and critically, they damage the clear crystalline proteins in the lens of your eye. As more and more of these proteins get damaged by sugar, the lens becomes cloudy, stiff, and yellowed. That, my friends, is the very definition of a cataract. You are, in a very real sense, slowly caramelizing the lens of your eye from the inside out. Imagine this scenario. It's a typical Tuesday. You start your day with a bowl of cornflakes and a glass of orange juice. You feel a quick burst of energy. By 10:30 a.m., you're feeling sluggish, so you have a cup of tea with 2 biscuits. For lunch, a sandwich on soft white bread. In the afternoon, you hit that familiar wall of fatigue. Your brain feels foggy, and you can't focus. That slump you're feeling isn't just in your head. It's the physical echo of the sugar roller coaster you've been on all day. It's the feeling of your body struggling to manage that internal storm. And while you feel it as a dip in energy, your eyes are silently weathering the damage from that very same storm. The solution here isn't about deprivation. It's about smart substitution. It's about being intentional. Instead of that glass of juice, which is essentially sugar water stripped of all its fiber, eat the whole orange. The fiber in the fruit acts like a sponge, slowing down the absorption of sugar and preventing that damaging spike. Instead of white bread, which your body treats almost identically to table sugar, choose a hearty 100% whole grain bread or a traditional sourdough. The complex carbohydrates and fiber provide sustained energy without the chaotic rush. It's about recognizing that these foods aren't just empty calories. They are active agents of damage. Every time you choose a piece of fruit over a cookie or sparkling water with lemon over a soda, you are making a conscious decision to protect those delicate structures in your eyes. This isn't about one meal, it's about shifting the overall pattern. And this damage caused by sugar doesn't happen in isolation. In fact, it kicks off a chain reaction, creating a dangerous internal environment of chronic low-grade inflammation. Now, we need to talk about the second vision robber, which acts like pouring gasoline on that smoldering fire. This robber is a group of fats that actively promote and sustain chronic low-grade inflammation throughout your body, with devastating consequences for your eyes. I'm talking about industrial seed oils and artificial trans fats. These are the fats that dominate the shelves of our supermarkets and the kitchens of most restaurants. They go by names like soybean oil, corn oil, cottonseed oil, sunflower oil, and safflower oil. They're found in nearly every processed food imaginable, from salad dressings and mayonnaise to cookies, crackers, granola bars, and frozen dinners. Why are they everywhere? Because they are cheap to produce and have a long shelf life, making them a manufacturer's dream. But they can be a nightmare for our long-term health. Here's the why. Our bodies need a delicate balance of 2 types of essential fatty acids, omega-6 and omega-3. You can think of it like this. Omega-6 fats, when consumed in moderation, are like the body's emergency response team. They help create a temporary, acute inflammatory response when you get an injury, which is essential for healing. They are the fire starters. Omega-3 fats, on the other hand, are the firefighters. They are anti-inflammatory, calming the system down once the threat has passed. A healthy human diet for most of our history had a ratio of about 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 omega-6 to omega-3. The modern diet, thanks to these industrial seed oils, has a ratio closer to 20-to-1. What does this mean? It means our bodies are stuck in a constant state of emergency. The fire starters are working overtime, and we don't have nearly enough firefighters to put out the flames. This creates a state of chronic, low-grade inflammation that simmers away day after day, damaging cells all over our body. And just like with sugar, the delicate, high-energy environment of the eye is uniquely susceptible. This constant inflammation is a primary driver in the development and progression of age-related macular degeneration, AMD. It irritates and destroys the cells in the macula, the part of your retina responsible for your sharp, central, detailed vision, the very vision you use to read a newspaper or recognize a loved one's face. Worse still are the artificial trans fats, often listed on labels as partially hydrogenated oil. These are industrial oils that have been chemically altered to be solid at room temperature. Think of classic stick margarine or vegetable shortening. These fats are cellular poison. They are foreign to our biology, and our bodies don't know how to process them. They get incorporated into our cell membranes, making them stiff and dysfunctional, disrupting communication between cells and creating even more inflammation and free radical damage. While largely banned now, they still lurk in some processed baked goods, coffee creamers, and fried foods. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you're at the grocery store. You're trying to make a healthy choice, so you pick up a bottle of light Italian dressing. You turn it over. The first ingredient? Soybean oil. You grab a box of whole wheat crackers. The second ingredient? Sunflower oil. You pick up a tub of creamy spread that promises it's better than butter. It's made from a blend of vegetable oils. You see, these inflammatory fats are not just in junk food. They are hiding in plain sight, even in foods we think are sensible choices. It's the water we're swimming in. Have you ever woken up with a general sense of achiness? A stiffness in your joints that takes a little while to work out? Or a feeling of being slightly puffy or bloated for no clear reason? That's often the low-level physical sensation of this chronic inflammation. It's your body's way of whispering that something is out of balance. While you feel it in your knees or your hands, that same inflammatory process is silently, microscopically happening in the back of your eyes. So, how do we fight back? This isn't about avoiding all fat, it's about a strategic fat swap. First, become a detective. Read your labels. If you see partially hydrogenated oil, put the product back on the shelf, no exceptions. Then notice how many products on your list contain those high omega-6 seed oils. Second, change your home cooking habits. Swap out that big jug of vegetable oil for healthier cooking fats. For lower temperature cooking and dressings, nothing beats extra virgin olive oil, which is packed with anti-inflammatory compounds. For higher heat cooking, avocado oil is an excellent choice. Don't be afraid of good old-fashioned butter, especially from grass-fed cows. And most importantly, you must intentionally increase your team of firefighters, the omega-3s. This means eating fatty, cold water fish like salmon, mackerel, herring, and sardines 2 to 3 times a week. It means incorporating walnuts, chia seeds, and ground flax seeds into your oatmeal or smoothies. By actively reducing the inflammatory fats and increasing the anti-inflammatory ones, you begin to change the entire environment of your body. You are, quite literally, cooling it down from the inside out. We've now seen how sugar causes the initial damage and how the wrong fats fan the flames. We understand now that one creates the initial damage and the other fans the flames, creating a hostile environment within our bodies. The third vision robber is different. It's more subtle. It's not about a specific food group you're eating, but rather about the profound lack of protective nutrients in the modern food supply. Specifically, I'm talking about conventionally raised, grain-fed meats and dairy. Now, this can be a difficult topic. For many of us, meat, eggs, and dairy have been staples our entire lives, recommended as key sources of protein and calcium. And they absolutely can be. But we must ask a critical question. Is the meat on our plate today the same, nutritionally, as the meat our grandparents and great-grandparents ate? The science overwhelmingly says no, and this difference has a direct impact on the health of our eyes. Let's go back to our omega-6 and omega-3 balance. A cow, a chicken, or a laying hen is designed by nature to eat its natural diet. Grass for the cow, bugs and plants for the chicken. When these animals eat what they're supposed to eat, their meat, milk, and eggs contain a healthy, balanced ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 fats, along with a host of other beneficial vitamins. But in our modern industrial food system, the vast majority of these animals are raised in confined animal feeding operations, or CAFOs. Their primary food source is no longer grass or bugs. It's a diet composed almost entirely of corn and soy, the very grains that are highest in those pro-inflammatory omega-6 fatty acids. So what happens? The animals become what they eat. The meat and dairy they produce becomes unnaturally high in inflammatory omega-6s and desperately low in anti-inflammatory omega-3s. So, even if you've diligently switched your cooking oils and are trying to eat a healthy, lean chicken breast or a steak, you may be unknowingly flooding your system with the very same inflammatory fats you're trying to avoid. It's a nutritional bait and switch. But it's not just about the fats. There are two superstar nutrients that are arguably the most important substances on the planet for protecting the macula of your eye. They are called lutein and zeaxanthin. These are potent antioxidants, a type of carotenoid. Think of them as internal sunglasses for your retina. They naturally accumulate in the macula and serve two critical functions. First, they absorb and filter out damaging high-energy blue and ultraviolet light before it can reach and destroy your delicate photoreceptor cells. Second, they are powerful antioxidants that neutralize the free radicals generated by this light exposure and other metabolic processes. A high concentration of lutein and zeaxanthin in your macula is directly correlated with a lower risk of developing and a slower progression of macular degeneration and cataracts. And where do we find these incredible nutrients? In nature, they are most abundant in dark, leafy green vegetables like spinach and kale. But there's another incredibly rich and bioavailable source: the yolk of an egg from a pasture-raised hen. The deep, vibrant orange color of a true farm-fresh egg yolk? That's not food coloring. That is the visual proof of a high concentration of lutein and zeaxanthin. A hen that has been out in the pasture, eating greens, clover, and bugs, concentrates these protective pigments in her yolk. In contrast, the pale, anemic yellow yolk from a conventionally raised grain-fed hen contains a fraction of these vital nutrients. Let's bring this to life. Imagine an 80-year-old man named Frank. Frank has early-stage macular degeneration. His doctor told him to watch his diet. So Frank dutifully eats a skinless chicken breast for dinner, has scrambled eggs from a standard carton for breakfast, and uses a splash of milk in his coffee. He thinks he's doing the right thing, but unknowingly every meal is contributing to his body's inflammatory load and starving his eyes of the very nutrients, the lutein, the zeaxanthin, the omega-3s, that they need to defend themselves. He feels frustrated and helpless because he's doing everything right, yet his vision continues to decline. He's trying to build a brick wall to protect his sight, but he's been given straw instead of bricks. The actionable step here is about seeking quality over quantity. This isn't a call to vegetarianism, but a call to be more conscious of your sourcing. When you are at the store, look for meat that is labeled 100% grass-fed or grass-finished. For poultry, the gold standard is pasture-raised. The same goes for eggs. Look for pasture-raised on the carton. Yes, these products often cost more, but I want you to reframe this. You're not just buying food, you're buying protection. You're buying concentrated nutrition. Perhaps it means eating meat a little less often, but ensuring that when you do, it is of the highest, most nutrient-dense quality possible. It's an investment in the building blocks your body desperately needs to preserve your precious sight. So far, we've pulled back the curtain on how sugar starts a cascade of damage, how the wrong fats fuel a fire of inflammation, and how a lack of nutrient-dense, properly raised animal foods can starve our eyes of their essential protectors. Now we must confront the fourth vision robber, a category of foods that many of us rely on for convenience and comfort, but which actively wages war on our body's internal defense systems. I'm talking about highly processed and cured meats. This group includes some of our most familiar foods: bacon, sausages, hot dogs, pepperoni, and the deli meats that make up so many of our sandwiches, like ham, bologna, salami, and even many packaged turkey and chicken slices. The problem with these foods is multi-layered. They damage our eyes through at least three distinct, powerful mechanisms. The first and most important is the creation of immense oxidative stress. Think of oxidative stress as biological rust. Just as oxygen and moisture cause a piece of iron to rust and decay, normal metabolic processes in our bodies create unstable molecules called free radicals that can rust our cells. Our bodies have a built-in antioxidant defense system to neutralize these free radicals. But when the attack is overwhelming, our defenses are depleted and our cells get damaged. The eye, which consumes a tremendous amount of oxygen and is constantly exposed to light, is a hotbed for oxidative stress. It is ground zero for this cellular rusting. Processed meats dramatically accelerate this process. Many are preserved using chemicals like nitrates and nitrites. When these compounds are exposed to high heat during cooking, or when they mix with stomach acid, they can form potent substances called nitrosamines. These nitrosamines are highly toxic and generate a storm of free radicals, directly overwhelming your body's precious antioxidant reserves, the very reserves needed to protect your retina and lens. The second mechanism is their staggering sodium content. We know that high sodium intake is a primary driver of high blood pressure, a condition that a huge number of seniors are rightly concerned about. But have you ever stopped to think about how high blood pressure affects your vision? Imagine your plumbing system is supposed to run water gently through delicate garden hoses. Now imagine you hook up a fire hose at full blast. That is precisely what high blood pressure does to the tiny, fragile blood vessels that nourish your eye. This unrelenting pressure can damage the blood vessels of the retina, a condition called hypertensive retinopathy. It can also increase the pressure inside the eye itself, which is a major risk factor for glaucoma, a disease that damages the optic nerve and can lead to irreversible peripheral vision loss. Finally, let's revisit our old enemy: AGEs, the advanced glycation end products that we talked about with sugar. It turns out that processed meats, especially those cooked at high dry temperatures, like grilling a sausage or frying bacon until it's crispy, are among the highest dietary sources of preformed AGEs. You aren't just creating them in your body with sugar. You are literally eating them whole, adding directly to the body's load of these tissue-stiffening, pro-inflammatory compounds that accelerate the clouding of your lens into cataracts. Let's step into a common scene. It's Saturday morning. The smell of frying bacon fills the kitchen. It's a smell of comfort, of family, of a weekend treat. Or it's a busy weekday, and for lunch, you quickly make a sandwich with a few slices of packaged ham because it's easy and it fills you up. In these moments of comfort and convenience, it's impossible to feel the silent battle taking place inside. You can't feel the surge in your blood pressure from the salt. You can't feel the free radicals being generated by the preservatives. You can't feel the AGEs depositing themselves in the delicate proteins of your lens. The harm is completely invisible, yet it is cumulative. Each bacon strip, each slice of deli meat adds another drop to a bucket that, over time, can overflow into vision loss. The empowerment here comes from mindful reduction and intelligent replacement. This isn't about saying you can never have a piece of bacon again. It's about shifting its status from a daily staple to a very rare treat. It's about being deliberate. Instead of deli meat for your sandwich, take 5 extra minutes to flake some canned wild salmon or mash up a hard-boiled egg with a little avocado. Better yet, when you roast a chicken for dinner, make a little extra and slice that up for sandwiches for the next couple of days. You get all the flavor and protein without the payload of salt and chemical preservatives. You take back control from the food manufacturers and put it back in your own kitchen. So far, we've focused on foods that add harmful substances to the body: sugar, inflammatory fats, and chemical additives. But our final vision robber is perhaps the most insidious of all because its primary crime is one of omission. It robs your vision not by what it adds, but by what it displaces from your diet. I'm talking about the beige diet of nutrient-poor convenience foods. This is the sea of beige and brown that fills so much of our pantry and freezer space. The crackers, the pasta, the white flour tortillas, the pretzels, the chips, the instant mashed potatoes, and the endless variety of packaged snacks. These foods are the epitome of empty calories, but that phrase doesn't quite capture the true danger. The danger isn't just what they are, it's what they prevent you from eating. To understand this, we need to talk about nutrient density. Imagine your daily food intake is like a parking lot with a limited number of spaces. Every time you eat a food, you fill a space. A handful of fresh, vibrant blueberries is like parking a car full of priceless treasures in one of those spots. It's packed with antioxidants, vitamins, and fiber. A handful of plain crackers is like parking an empty, broken-down car in that same spot. It takes up the space, it fills your stomach, but it delivers almost nothing of value. The real tragedy is that the empty car is now preventing the treasure-filled one from parking. This is the displacement effect. Every time you reach for a beige processed snack, you are making a choice to not eat something that could be actively protecting your vision. Every cracker is a carrot stick you didn't eat. Every bowl of plain pasta is a serving of leafy greens you missed. Your stomach has a finite capacity, and your day has a finite number of meals. When those opportunities are consistently filled with nutrient-poor foods, you create a profound nutritional deficit, even if you are eating plenty of calories. Your stomach may be full, but your eyes are starving. Remember those superstar nutrients, lutein and zeaxanthin, and their critical partners, vitamin C, vitamin E, and zinc? These are the building blocks of your eye's defense system. Where do we find them? We find them in color: the deep green of spinach and broccoli, the vibrant orange of carrots and sweet potatoes, the brilliant red of bell peppers and tomatoes, the rich purple of berries and beets. The beige diet is beige for a reason. It is fundamentally devoid of these life-giving, vision-protecting pigments and compounds. Let's be honest, we've all been there. It's 5 p.m. and you're tired, you don't feel like cooking an elaborate meal. You open the pantry, and a box of macaroni and cheese or a can of soup seems like the easiest path. It's warm, it's comforting, it's fast, and in that moment, it feels like a solution. But that meal, while filling, has just taken the place of what could have been a simple vision-protective dinner. It has displaced the very nourishment your eyes were depending on for their daily repair and defense. It's a quiet, slow-motion theft. You don't notice it day to day, but over the course of months and years, the cumulative effect of these displaced opportunities is staggering. It's the difference between a retina that is constantly being reinforced and rebuilt, and one that is left vulnerable and exposed to the daily onslaught of light and oxidative stress. The empowerment here is not about becoming a gourmet chef overnight. It's about embracing one of the simplest and most powerful principles of nutrition: eat the rainbow. This isn't just a cute phrase for children, it is a profound biological instruction. Aim to get 3 or more different, natural colors on your plate at every single meal. That might sound daunting, but it's simpler than you think. Making eggs? Toss in a handful of pre-washed spinach and some chopped red pepper. Having oatmeal? Top it with a sprinkle of blueberries and walnuts. Making a simple sandwich with leftover roast chicken? Add a thick slice of tomato and a leaf of dark green lettuce. Instead of a bag of pretzels for a snack, have an apple with a tablespoon of almond butter. These are not monumental changes. They are small, consistent acts of nutritional reinforcement. Each splash of color you add to your plate is you, actively fighting back against the slow fade. You are consciously choosing to park a treasure-filled car in your daily parking lot. And there we have it. 5 distinct robbers, from the active assault of sugar to the silent theft of nutritional displacement. At first glance, it might seem like a daunting list, a minefield of modern food. But I want you to see the pattern, the common thread that connects them all, because that's where our true power lies. As you can see, all of these pieces connect. This isn't about fighting 5 separate, unrelated battles. It's not about memorizing a long list of good and bad foods. The sugar that damages your blood vessels, the seed oils that create inflammation, the processed meats that bombard you with salt and chemicals, and the beige foods that starve you of nutrients, they are all part of the same problem. They are all features of a modern, industrialized food environment that prioritizes shelf life and profit over human health. They are all working together, synergistically, to create an internal state in your body that accelerates the aging process, especially in your delicate eyes. But here is the most important truth I want you to leave with today. Understanding this pattern is not a reason for despair. It is the ultimate source of empowerment. Because if a single unified problem is causing the damage, then a single unified solution can begin the healing. The solution is not about 5 different diets, it's about one fundamental shift in perspective. It's about moving away from factory-made processed products and moving towards real, whole, nutrient-dense foods. It's about eating food that our bodies recognize. Food that cools inflammation instead of fueling it. Food that delivers the specific antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals your eyes are crying out for. I know this can feel overwhelming. You've spent decades building your habits, and the world around us makes it so easy to choose the convenient path. Please do not let that overwhelm you into inaction. This is not about achieving perfection overnight. This is about making one better choice today. Maybe today it's just swapping your soda for sparkling water. Maybe tomorrow it's adding a handful of spinach to your eggs. Maybe this weekend it's deciding to roast a chicken instead of buying deli meat. Each of these small, deliberate acts is a victory. Each one is a message you send to your own body that you are on its side. You are no longer a passive victim of time. You are an active participant in your own wellness. You are taking back the controls. You are reclaiming the power that has always been yours, the power to nourish, to protect, and to heal. The journey to protecting your vision and your independence for the long haul begins not with a radical diet, but with a single mindful bite. I truly hope this deep dive has been valuable for you. If it opened your eyes in any way, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up like button. It's a simple click, but it tells YouTube that this is important information, and it helps us reach more people just like you who need to hear this message. And if you haven't already, please subscribe so you never miss our next investigation into aging with strength and dignity. We are building a community here, a place of support, knowledge, and empowerment. Your presence makes us all stronger. Thank you for spending this time with me. Stay strong, stay informed, and we'll see you in the next video, where we'll be exploring the surprising link between hearing loss and brain health. You won't want to miss it.